Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gaming Droid and welcome back to the Sky Pirate Droid. This is just a quick little video to show you something that happens if you're not careful about your torch placement. This is the monster invasion that occurred during my during my build. I'm just playing it sped up just so that you can see kind of like as the monsters spread, they knock down torches, more monsters spawn, Endermen teleport behind me, I have to fight the Endermen as they sort of attack the back of me, then I get swarmed by zombies, and like this is just me surviving by the sheer skin of my teeth and the madness of it all. Rapidly repairing my flint daggered throwing knives and just slowly digging my way through. The issue is I couldn't sleep because every time when I first saw this I tried to sleep, there just weren't enough people, or there just were too many monsters near my bed, and even then there were an awful lot of monsters that wouldn't have been destroyed by the sunlight. So I had to work slowly. This guy with the cage on his head, very very tough zombie, takes an awful lot of daggers to kill. But now they're starting to burn, it becomes a lot easier. We've got the witch, but long range dagger shots. Practicing to get a decent aim with the dagger is very good. Later on I replace the dagger's blade with alamite, which means I end up with 103 daggers rather than 20 as throwing daggers. As you know, Endermen immune to ranged weapons, so I had to deal with them with an axe instead. But I just dig my way through, throw down some torches as I go about, and it was just one of the blocks on top of the wall, one square, and the problem is because in this mod pack the monsters destroy torches, that one square was all it required to allow the summon of a huge squall of monsters. And so that was one heck of a fight, and I just go a little bit crazy with just planting torches everywhere because it was really difficult. I completed quite a few of the monster killing quests. That was just after I came back from cutting down my great wood tree. So I decide I'm going to finish building. I build up the second platform, which I lost the footage of unfortunately, and I just put the roof on and build up the edges of the roof. Once I've built up the edges of the roof and put the roof on, I then go into building the crystal, which is the last element of my Thorncraft build, which is the kind of, not the main element, but it's the crystalline kind of structure, because in this world everything in the floating world is supported by a crystal. Brown crystals cause insanity and summon monsters, green crystals help things to grow better. It's just a little conceit for the story of the world, because I'm very interested in making this a slightly prettier world and a slightly more sort of connected world. So that's the wood panels being put in, so that's the floor being put in. And after I put the floor in, I'll be putting in the crystal at the front as well. So I'll finish off the floor, just using my builder's one to make this bit easier. And you saw there a couple of yellow blocks on top of the tower, on top of the walls, and that was something that happened before which had caused my monster invasion. Just setting up my Thorncraft area ready for my Thorncraft, and so that's the Thorncraft area set up, and next we're going to move on and have a look at the crystal building. As you can probably see, I've been having a little bit of issue with footage going missing, footage being damaged. I think I've fixed most of it now, but I was using purple glass to make the base and then using purple glass carpenters to make the body. I tweak this later and the footage of the tweaks goes iffy again later on. So it's a case of like, you'll see this built slightly differently in future episodes, but that's merely because I lost some of the footage I was working with and kind of went back and rebuilt parts of it. But the basic conceit is the same. Purple crystal using microblocks to make the sort of shaping of it, and then I move on and do the sort of strapping for the purple crystal, because this purple crystal is being held in place by stone struts, but of course if this purple crystal was what was holding the island up, it would float off. It's not embedded in the island, it's kind of been added to the island as a secondary thing. And because of that, later on I move on and I think about using a couple of different materials, but just because I thought it would be kind of theme appropriate, I wanted to use metal. So I cut down some ferrous ore and some ferrous blocks and some aluminium blocks to make strapping. The aluminium blocks you see me using this time round, I go back, I alter some things later on because there was some damage to the building when a monster accident happened that didn't get caught on camera, and then some of the footage got lost and damaged, and so there's a few tweaks that happen later on between episodes. But for the most part, there's some aluminium blocks, you cut it down with a saw, and then this makes my strapping rod, my metal framework that holds the crystal in place. And it just gets popped in. It's micro blocks, so it takes a little bit of fiddling to get it all sorted and suited how I want it to go. But with a little bit of care, a little bit of attention, it fits in quite well. And everything gets sort of sorted out and shaped properly. And it's just this idea of having like this metal framework that's bound into the building that is binding the crystal into the building to keep it steady, because the stone binding didn't sort of strap everything down hard enough. And that's the main conceit of it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!